I think it would be fair to say that His Majesty the King, and rightly so, must loathe the day that he ever walked Meghan Markle down the aisle at St George's Chapel, because the union with her and his youngest son has clearly brought nothing but trouble to his door. And it wasn't really just a spat about his two sons falling out, as this can be the case, but more importantly now affects the whole basis of the monarchy. And when you think about it, it's nothing to do with him whatsoever, but for someone many miles away who decided very quickly that she didn't like royal life and was doing her very best to remove herself away from it, well, now he's faced with this problem. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here. Nice to see you. And as ever, thank you so much for joining me today. Nice to have your company on a bit of a sunny, yes, nice, isn't it? I know, a little bit of free vitamin D. Don't need to take the tablets then, do you? I know. Don't stay out too long though. You know, I'm giving you warnings and trigger warnings. Oh, let's not start that. Thank you also for your comments about that guy, you know, the DJ that couldn't walk into a room and it was full of white people. You just couldn't make this trash up, could you? And there they are going, of course, into media. Oh, it must be terrible. You know, as I said, the 80 grand a year that the BBC pay this guy, I think you'd get over it, wouldn't you? But of course, back as ever to your breaking royal story. This is really serious, in fact, because as you can imagine, if you're His Majesty the King, it's just one problem after another, and it's trivial gossip trash, isn't it? It's not necessarily that concerning. What is concerning, of course, is when you're accused of something that you're simply not, and particularly as you move in the monarchy into the 21st century, remodernising alongside, of course, Queen Camilla and the Prince and Princess of Wales, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, etc. You know, I mean, obviously there are people that are under the radar that do a lot of sterling work backing up His Majesty the King, like the Princess Royal, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. But you see, the bigger problem are this, and this is really what's making it very difficult. And as I say, you can understand why His Majesty is really at a loss and very angry indeed, one would suggest, with Meghan and indeed his wayward youngest son, Prince Harry. The random naming of two royals allegedly accused of racism could make King Charles's task of holding on to the overseas thrones really difficult. With Barbados no longer a kingdom and other Commonwealth countries like Jamaica, Grenada and Antigua and Barbuda, fast-growing Republican sentiment is key. Plans are already underway for a referendum in St Kitts and Nevis. The monarch naturally will not welcome this added headache from the Sussex cheerleader Omid Scobie. And some might suggest that that indeed was their plan, you know. It was to basically, if we can't have what we want, then let's wreck the monarchy for the rest. I'm not suggesting that, but that is the sort of situation that's put out there. And when you think about it, as I said, time and time again, you see them both openly lying, like Prince Harry saying, no, nobody ever accused anybody of the British monarchy of racism. Q, you put the piece up, but no, it was the British press. How do you fight something like that, particularly if you are His Majesty the King? Naturally, Prince and Princess of Wales are furious. His Majesty the King is furious because it's deviating away from the topics that he really wants people to think and talk about. But more importantly, the kingdom as a whole. It is very worrying, and it literally all falls down to the door of one person who entered the British monarchy. Whichever way you look at it, we never had these problems until the cable TV actress decided to set her cap at the very vulnerable Prince Harry. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.